our first little meeting on Tuesdays in the new session, and I want to thank you all for joining me. And we have a new leadership team, Senators Durbin, Stabenow, and Klobuchar. Senator Murray, as you know, is now not in the leadership because she's the Senate pro tem, although she comes to our meetings and we take her input because she's so great. Okay, and I'm going to have to be quick today because we're headed to the White House this afternoon, as you know. But before I go, I wanted to tell you about the productive lunch we had and what we've laid out for the few weeks ahead. First, we want to continue our successes in the last Congress and continue delivering for the American people. This was the most successful 2 years in decades. Many people compare it to the Great Society favorably or equally, some even New Deal because of what we did on climate. So we want to continue doing that, and we want to continue working in a bipartisan way wherever we can. But unfortunately right now, House Republicans, at least where they seem to be headed, have different ideas. On the very first day of votes, they made their first order of business to make it easier for the ultra-rich tax cheats to escape accountability, at the same time blowing a $100 billion hole in the deficit. They say they care about the deficit, but they seem to care more about making sure that those very, very wealthy people who use lawyers and accountants to go through all kinds of loopholes and pay a lower percentage than the average American, that seems to be what they care about, because they actually created a hole in the deficit by preventing us from collecting money from those people. And that's what CBO said, not us. And speaking of the deficit, we're now witnessing the House GOP recklessly flirt with default. Listen, it's clear. Default would be a catastrophe for American working families. It's not an abstract issue. It's going to affect every American family severely and adversely. And playing brinksmanship, taking hostages, is being risky and not caring about average people. So let's look at some of it. If the MAGA GOP stops paying our nation's bills, Americans pay the price. Political brinksmanship would be a massive hit to local economies, American families, nothing less than an economic crisis. Here's what would happen. For instance, interest rates would go way up. If you have a home loan, the average person could pay tens of thousands of dollars more on their mortgage if they have a variable rate mortgage. It would hurt Social Security dramatically, hurt Medicare. The only people who will pay the price is partisan politics. Home values will go down because when mortgage interest rates go up, home values go down. People have less money to buy a home because they're putting a lot into the mortgage. And now, listen to this. House Republicans, some of the House MAGA Republicans have asked their leadership we hear that some House Republicans, from House Republicans, that their leadership has agreed to give GOP radicals a vote on a 30% national sales tax across the board. 30% sales tax on everything. Meaning right now, as inflation finally begins to drop, Republicans are looking to make American families pay 30% more for every single thing they buy. The Republican national sales tax is a disaster for American families. And you don't need to take it from me. Grover Norquist said the proposal is an assault on your retirement savings. And he's hardly an ally of ours. Steve Forbes said it would raise house prices by $100,000 and raise American bills by thousands. There's nothing fair about this Republican sales tax. So if Republicans want to push this terrible proposal, they're welcome to make their case, make our day. Similarly, if Republicans want to play brinksmanship with deficit and demanding cuts, they need to show us exactly what they want to cut. They have said they're going to put all these bills on the floor, regular order, and have votes. Well, let's see what cuts they actually want to make, and let's see if they can pass any of them. I doubt it. I doubt it. So, to my GOP colleagues, if you want to talk about all this stuff, then you have an obligation to show the American people precisely what kind of cuts you want to make. Do you want to cut Social Security? Do you want to cut pay raises for our troops? Do you want to cut Medicare? Do you want to cut police? Do you want to cut helps for the veterans? Republicans owe the American people answers. In lunch, we agreed Senate Democrats are ready and united to roll up our sleeves and deliver for the American people. Senator Durbin.